Let's see what interest means. The word interest in mathematics has to do something with money. The first thing we need to understand is that when we need money to use, it costs to use or to borrow that money. That means it is not free to get money to use. Let's take an example. Now suppose this is a bank and this is you. And suppose you need to borrow money for your business or to buy a house or to buy a vehicle. What do? You get that money, you borrow it from a bank. So let's take an example. Suppose the bank gives you 1000 rupees today. This money you are going to use for your work, and when you are done with it, you are going to return. But when you return that money, you don't return only 1000 rupees. What you return is 1000 plus something more. Why more? Because you also pay money for using that money. So let's say, for example, you return 1000 plus 100 is equal to 1100 or 1100 rupees later when you return it. In this case, 1000 rupees was the original money that you got from the bank, that you borrowed from the bank, and 100 rupees is the money that you are giving the bank for using that 1000 rupees. So this extra money, the money that you are paying to use the money, the fees that you are paying to use the money is called as interest. So in this case, 100 rupees is the interest. And the money you borrowed from the bank is called as loan. Loan is the money that you borrow from the bank. So let's learn some terminologies that we use in mathematics. Principal is the amount that you borrow, that you take from somebody, from a bank or from a financial institute to use the money. So in this case, the principal is 1000 rupees. Interest is the money that you pay extra for using the money. So in this case, interest is 100 rupees. And amount is the total money that you return to the bank. So you return principal as well as the interest. So amount is the total money. In this case, this is 1100. So what we saw so far is about loan. Sometimes what happens is that you have money that you put in the bank. That means you give your money to the bank to use. So suppose you put 1000 rupees in the bank today, then the bank is going to use that money and later the bank will return you more money. The bank will return you 1000 plus 100. 100 is the interest here. That means the bank will return you 1100 later. This kind of thing where you put money in the bank and the bank uses it is called as deposit. That means you deposit your money in the bank and the bank gives you interest for using the money. Again, in this example as well, the principal is 1000, interest is 100 and amount is 1100. Now if you look at it carefully, you can see that amount equals principal plus 100. Because amount is the total money that you either receive if it is a deposit or you return if it is a loan. So the total money is the principal and the interest. That means amount equals principal plus interest. So this is a simple equation that we will always use in our problems. Amount equals principal plus interest, and you can write it in a simpler form like this: A equals P plus I. And I have written here the numbers from the example that we just saw, where the principal is 1000, interest is 100 and amount is 1100. The same equation you can write it like this: I equals A minus P. I is interest. We know that 100 equals 1100 minus 1000. Or you can say P equals A minus I. P is principal, that means 1000 equals 1100 minus 100. It's easy. Actually, there is only one equation, A equals P plus I. The same equation has been written in different ways. So let's consider this main equation, amount equals principal plus interest, and solve some practice problems. Principal is 3000, interest is 300, so the amount will be 3000 plus 300, which will be 3300. If the principal is 5500 and interest is 250, what would be the amount? Let's add these two numbers. So 5500 plus 250 equals 5750. In the next example, we have the principal and the amount, and we need to calculate the interest. So let's subtract 11,000 from 11,550. What we get is 550, so the interest is 550. In the next example, we have the interest and the amount, and we need to calculate the principal. So the amount is 10,040 and the interest is 2,040. Let's subtract 2,040 from 10,040, so we get 8,000, so the principal is 8,000. In the next one, we have the principal and the amount, so let's subtract the principal from the amount to get the interest. 825 minus 750 equals 75, so the interest is 75. In the last example, we have the amount and the interest, and we need to calculate the principal. So let's subtract 1800 from 31,800. What we get is 30,000, so the principal is 30,000. You can see it's very simple to do these calculations.